Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I am making this wedding venue of my dreams in The Sims 4 without my wedding stories because I don't have it because I've heard terrible things. But I'm making this venue so that I have the opportunity to share a little bit about me and my life with you guys. Before I get too far ahead of myself, though, I would love it if you would give this video a like and, of course, subscribe if you haven't already. I make Sims 4 speed build videos, and I will be expanding into Let's Plays and some other content. This is one of the first videos that I'm making that is just sort of more about the story time and kind of a vibe that I'm creating more than being like, this is a build and it's up on the gallery. But yeah, let's talk about this build. I made this build as this very dreamy, rustic, eclectic, very cozy, I guess, aesthetic for an outdoor wedding. I really enjoyed making these like greeting guest tables with the little guest book and some drinks and stuff and these little lights. Of course, what you're seeing here is the ceremony space with seating for your guests. And the venue also will include a cocktail reception area with tables, many bars, of course, a dance floor, and it's just really sweet. Also, the dining area. So building a wedding venue in The Sims is definitely a lot more simple than actually trying to find a venue in real life. Right now, that's kind of the point of wedding planning that we're at. It's still pretty early stages, but we've already run into so many wedding industry shenanigans. And if any of you are married or have been or are engaged or whatever, you'll probably get a sense of what I'm saying. The markup and the excessiveness of all of the wedding industry is so over the top and inflated. One of the first venues that I reached out to, we had a pretty strong idea that it wasn't going to work out. It would probably be out of our budget, but there was no information about it on their website in terms of pricing, so I decided to reach out and just see what they had to say. You never know. For our sake, for just speaking generally, imagine that a venue can cost between $1 and $5. Or maybe it's different ranks, right? One being the most affordable and low-key you can do, and one that is like completely unreasonably expensive. Imagine that we're looking at a 3 for our wedding, something in that range. This was definitely a 5. But we were totally prepared for that, right? That was just part of reaching out. We thought, oh, there's a good chance this could be totally out of our range, and it was. It obviously was. What I was not expecting was the email that I would get in response to my request to the event organizer for this venue. Some important context for this venue is that this is a very, very non-traditional space. And this venue normally functions as a space where people can purchase tickets for entry to the space as part of its normal operations. So, back to this email. This person responds and says, "Hey, I'm so glad you're reaching out to us for your private event. Here's some details on what to expect. We have our own vendors, which you can choose from, and here are the 3 options. And later on, at some point, we can talk to you about our alcohol options that are required to use the singular one." And she also told us that the space would cost a level 5 for us. So definitely a number that was like completely out of the question. Which, honestly, it was a bummer to hear all of that information because I was like, for multiple reasons, this is really not a fit for us. But in the following section, this event planner said, in addition to just the cost of the space, which is that level 5 figure that I just gave you, you still have to rent tables, you have to basically do all the other stuff to make your event work, and every person in your party will be required to purchase a ticket for entry into the space, just as any other guest would to this business. We are having a very, very small wedding. The average wedding, I believe, has about 90 to 110 guests per. Our wedding is probably going to be closer to 40 or 50 and will not be more than 60 people. However, the cost of entry to this space is an adjusted minimum rate for groups of $35. So if you just do some quick math on that, not only was the venue cost alone, just the space, so far out of our budget, but we had to multiply all of our guests by 35 and tack that on top of it. Seriously, this made me unreasonably mad. This was so frustrating to me. To me, this just felt like, why don't you come out and just say what the cost of your venue is? Stop being so evasive. If your venue costs a 7, it costs a 7. Like, just accept that you have an unreasonable realm of payment, or be more specific on giving people a range, saying it's gonna be an additional X for this size, an additional Y for this size. Just give me the numbers, because what a silly, sneaky way to make your venue seem more affordable and more appealing. Y'all, I've got to clarify. I know that these are major first world problems. I am not concerned. I'm not bent out of shape about it ultimately. It's just one of those funny things, just funny behavior from people and organizations that you run into when specifically you're trying to throw a wedding. So found that very amusing and really wanted to share that in light of making my dream venue. I'll talk about the nightmare of this weird email that I experienced. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this build. I hope you enjoyed this story time. Please remember to like the video and subscribe down below for more Sims 4 content. And let me know if you liked this kind of different setup, if you want to see more Sims story time, if you will. So definitely leave a comment below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!